Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video we're going to be making some homemade waterproofing. Now the recipe I'm about to tell you guys isn't my recipe. I got online, I searched for about 3 or 4 different recipes. I tried 2 different recipes, one of them with just regular boiled linseed oil. Then there's another recipe where you use the boiled linseed oil and beeswax and turpentine, and this is the recipe that I'm going to use today. Now, as many of you know, I have that little Polish lavu tent, and fall's upon us, almost winter, and I want to get that waterproofed, and this is the process I'm going to use. Okay, I'll show you the recipe or the ingredients. I bought a 5-pound brick. I don't know if you can see that. I bought a 5-pound brick of beeswax online, and we're going to use only 2 pounds of it. And then I bought some turpentine and boiled linseed oil. Now the ratio is 1 part wax to half a part linseed oil and half a part turpentine. So 2 pounds, that's going to be what, 32 ounces? 32 ounces of wax to 16 ounces of linseed oil and 16 ounces of turpentine. First thing we're going to do is we are going to transfer the wax into this pot, and we're going to slowly heat it up on a low heat and melt it. Alright, I've got the old Coleman burner on the lowest setting it would go. We got the beeswax in there. You got to be really careful. This pot isn't the most stable, so we're just going to, it is starting to melt down at the bottom of that. I don't know if you can see that or not. But rather than boring you guys and watching wax melt, I will come back after it's melted. And then I forgot to tell you, one of the things you guys are going to need is some sort of a canister to store it in. I didn't want to cook it in this paint jug because it's got a coating in it, and I was afraid that the coating was going to melt. And then I've also got some of these little, I guess they're to make homemade candles. I'm going to put some of this stuff in here, give it away to some of my friends. But I could smell that. It smells like honey. Look at it one more time. Then another thing you're going to want is some sort of a measuring device. Even though it's 2 pounds, I'm still going to make sure everything lines up. 32 ounces to 16 ounces of each of the turpentine and boiled linseed oil. But it's melting. Okay, we've been heating this up for about 10 minutes, just on a low heat. It smells really good. For those of you who are looking at maybe buying some beeswax, I got this on Amazon. I believe it was a 5-pound brick, and I believe it was $32, and it was actually cheaper to buy the 5-pound ingot than buying a whole bunch of smaller packages. And where I got it from, they sent it to me in one great big chunk. There's still more than half left, so I'm gonna package that up and store it. The wax is pretty much all melted down. I'm just going to keep it on this heat for a little bit longer just to make sure everything's melted down, but I think it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it in that can, or that measuring cup right there, and then add it to this pot. And then I'll add the turpentine and boiled linseed oil to that pot. I think it would be okay, but I don't want to add it to this hot kettle. I don't want anything to flash on me. Okay guys, I actually had more wax than I thought I did inside that can that I melted down. I had 44 ounces. So that's good to measure. So I'm going to measure 22 ounces of the turpentine. I might take everything I've got. I'll just put it between the 20 and 24. I'll mix this in. Now for the boiled linseed oil. Alright, we're about there. Okay, and we'll mix this in. Guess I just keep mixing it. It's already starting to chunk on me. But I'll keep mixing this. Alright, I got some of these little containers ready. And I'll pour some in. Oh, looks like I need more. Oh, spilt a little bit. Okay. Pour the rest back in the jug and keep mixing it. Oh yeah, it's a paste. You can see that's already starting to solidify. Okay, I have to tell you the guys the truth. It's been overnight. It's the next day. I stirred it up a little bit. It is kind of clumpy. I'm thinking that's because I've been messing with it and it is a little cold outside. But here's one of the canisters. Now what I want to do is I want to put some on a sample piece of my canvas that I got for my lavu. So I'm just going to apply some and then we will go and see how it does with the water test. So let me just grab a little bit. It's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a Vaseline, but a little bit goes a long way. I'm just gonna spread it out here. Then after I get done doing this, we're going to go in with a heat gun or a heat source and melt that wax so the wax will work its way into the fibers. This would be a good one to see how it does, because I sewed a hem along here. I'm going to work it into that. Work it into the hem. Get a little bit more. If I'm doing this wrong and you guys are watching this and you got more experience at this than I do, feel free to leave comments. This is just from what I saw online. Some people brush it in as a liquid, but then the ones I saw, they ended up having to heat it up anyway after they brushed it on. So I figure I'll just eliminate that painting process and just put it on like this. All right, I think it's covered pretty good. Let me go grab the heat gun. Oh, there's a little bit right here. Now this stuff isn't just for canvas. You can put on leather shoes. In fact, the first batch that I made, I put it on my leather shoes. It discolored them a little bit. They were brown. Now they're like a dark brown, but that's okay. They're waterproof. My friend's putting it on his Carhartt jacket. He's going to let me know how it works. Your kids' backpacks. But let me grab the heat gun. All right. Just gonna put it on the. You might see some of the wax melting. Heat it up. You can see it discolor a little bit. All right. Still a little liquidy. Or maybe I didn't get that side good enough. Okay, I'm going to let this sit because it's pretty hot. I'm going to let it cool down. and then we will take it inside and we'll see what the how it does with the water test. Alright guys, I'm back at my sink, or in my kitchen. We're gonna, well, let me get a cup. Another cup first. So I don't know, we'll just say this is the back side. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I hope so. It's the whole point. It's just beating right off. And it's dry as can be. See that? This side's wet, of course, because it's just got the residual water, but I think it's gonna work really good for my lavu. Alright guys, well thanks for stopping by and watching my video today on my DIY waterproofing. One thing you guys might want to note, if you make this, because of the linseed oil, you can't bunch this up after you apply it. Let it sit out for a couple days. I guess linseed oil is known for self-combusting. If you let it sit like this, there's been reports of people's rags catching on fire or their tents catching on fire if they don't properly let the material dry. So that's just a note you might want to be mindful of. But I think this is a great product. And just remember, you can always put it on axe handles, shoes, backpacks, coats, and a little bit will last a long time. So again, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, and you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.